Welcome, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, to the Orrville Area Boys and Girls Club Club Talks podcast. I'm your host, Nicolina Noletti. With me, I have my co-host, Andrew Arnold, and today we have a very special guest. We have Mike Jarrett from the JARRETT Logistics of Orrville. JARRETT Logistics is an Orrville-based company that provides transportation and logistics solutions. I heard you guys are celebrating a big anniversary this year.
That's right, Nicolina. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary.
25
Awesome.
years.
Yes.
Congrats.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's exciting.
That's a very big accomplishment.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, grew up, I'll start from the beginning. Is
Absolutely,
that okay?
yeah.
Of course.
Perfect.
Grew up primarily in Sterling, which is not
Okay.
too far from here, little farm town, and went to Norwayne High School. Graduated in 1983, and then went to Mount Union.
Go Purple Raiders.
Yes, that's right. Graduated from there in 87, and then went to work for a trucking company called Roadway, and worked there for a few years, and then eventually worked for FedEx Logistics, and spent about 8 years there. And then in 1999, my wife and I started JARRETT. So a little background on
Awesome.
where I went to school and grew up, and then 25 years later, we're sitting here today.
Here we are.
Awesome.
I myself am a Purple Raider. What was your degree in?
Oh my goodness, Nicolina, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Wow, I'm excited to be in the presence of a Purple
Right?
Raider.
I know. I
Yeah.
saw that and I was like, well.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. So I majored in business administration at Mount Union,
Okay.
and my minor was accounting.
All right.
But in reality, I majored in football there. you know.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah.
That's what Mount Union's known for.
That's
I
what
think,
it's for.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I majored in football and then took classes
On the side.
Yeah.
In your spare time.
Well, great. Now, when did you graduate from Mount Union?
2013.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so proud to hear that. Yeah.
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 Very good.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Well, I love to, I guess, as far as hobbies go, I enjoy working out. It's a lot of fun. I love working. It's one of those things, I guess, as an entrepreneur, you do. You just, you know what they always say: when you love what you do what you love what you do. It doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
So, spending time with family, obviously, that's
Yep.
important. I guess from a from a personal standpoint, I guess I would rank my personal purpose as first God, and then second family, and then everything else after that. And everything else after that would be being an entrepreneur and being involved with our businesses, doing some fitness things. But it's always God first and family second.
Awesome.
Great foundation there.
Yeah, well, thank you.
All right. So for those listening who may not know, JARRETT is what's called a 3PL company. Can you explain what that means?
Sure. So 3PL stands for Third Party Logistics Company. So I'll back up just a sec. So JARRETT, as a logistics transportation company, is broken up into 4 different divisions. So we have logistics, transportation, warehousing, and fleet services. Now, we also have some other divisions that are non-logistics, transportation, fitness centers, and some restaurants and so on. But our primary focus is supply chain management. So logistics is, as a third-party logistics company, that specific division is where we are an intermediary between us and the shipper and the carrier. So to put that in layman's terms, we essentially are providing a transportation management software platform to allow for our customers to be able to ship their goods the most efficient way.
Okay.
So,
That
yeah.
sounds like a lot of moving pieces and parts.
Yeah, it is. Logistics, by definition, is a lot of
Yeah.
moving pieces and parts. So, having great people, we're people-centric and tech-enabled, which means we focus on people first. We focus on our people as our most important asset, and then we provide our most important asset, our people, with tools to perform their jobs to the best of their ability. So technology is a key part of that.
Okay.
And then the transportation division, that's more traditional trucking. JARRETT Trucking is part of that division. And then warehousing is warehousing, where freight comes into our warehouses. We sort and segregate, warehouse the product, and then ship it out for our customers. E-commerce is a big part of the warehousing division. A lot of companies that don't want to focus on actually distributing their goods will set up a website, do e-commerce to sell their goods, and then utilize a third-party warehouser like us to warehouse the goods and then ship the goods out as they're sold on their website.
Get things from point A to point B.
It's a really big part of the warehousing division. And then our last division is fleet services. Our main fleet services location is in Seville, Ohio, and we have a second fleet services location in Kent. And the fleet services is to provide truck and trailer repair to other trucking companies.
Okay. So what is your role at the company? I'm guessing it is probably the biggest one that you can find.
Well, I don't know. You have to ask my wife.
Okay.
Yeah, she's really in charge, but so I'm the
Good answer.
Yeah. Are you married, Andrew?
I am.
All right, then you know. But no, I'm the founder and the CEO and president. So that's my role. But really, the most important part of my job is to make sure that we have our goals and objectives, our vision, and then hiring the very best people so that we can execute on the strategy. That's really, and then for me is to get out of the way because, we have great people and the great people are the folks that make things happen. They execute the vision and are, rolling the sleeves up every day, making things happen. So the best thing I can do is just get out of the way.
Yep. Delegate and move.
And move fast.
Move fast. So what's your favorite aspect of your career and your role at Jarrett?
Well, I think leading and developing people is a passion of mine. Creating jobs for people, providing opportunities for people to grow personally and professionally. We have a purpose as an organization, as I mentioned earlier. That's our people. Our purpose is our people. We also have a just cause, and our just cause is to provide our people with opportunities to grow, both personally and professionally, throughout their career at Jarrett. So, I at the top of my list is providing opportunities for our great people to advance in their careers, personally and professionally. So personally would be where you provide more for your family. That's a really important part of anyone's career. Secondly, professionally, that's to provide our people with opportunities to take on more responsibility, to make more of an impact on the organization. So I really spend a lot of time doing those kind of things, and I really enjoy it.
That's fantastic.
Definitely a passion.
That's fantastic. It definitely sounds like a people-centric company.
Very much so. Yeah. When you have your people as your purpose, and a lot of people ask me, quite often, how did you decide all those years ago to make people your purpose? And for me, it was a no-brainer. And the reason is because how we started. We started 25 years ago, and my wife and I bootstrapped the company. We didn't have private equity. We didn't have a partner. We essentially, maxed out our credit cards and put our house on the line with a loan and started it. And what I realized that when we were able to finally get enough revenue going, and that takes a while, it's hard, we were able to start hiring people. And so when we started hiring people, and we hired great people, and they were able to do all of these things so much better than we could. And I realized at that moment, the light bulb goes on and says, wait a minute, the success of the organization is tied back to your people. Mm-hmm. It's not tied back to external things. A lot of times you'll hear, well, our purpose is our customers. And sure, our customers are really important, but that's not who our purpose is, not Jarrett's purpose. Our purpose is to hire great people, provide opportunities for them to grow personally, professionally, and then by extension, they'll take care of our customers. They'll provide world-class service to them. So when you focus on the inside, those are organizations that focus on the inside first as opposed to the outside are more inspiring to the employees because they know we truly care, and then they care about each other, and they care about our customers by extension. It's a totally different way to look at your organization from the inside out versus the outside in.
Absolutely. It sounds, like you're definitely getting those benefits back of having invested in the people that are working for you.
Yeah, you're right, Nicolina. It's very important.
So 25 years in business, your path as an entrepreneur, what are some of the biggest challenges you faced when you were starting your business, and how did you overcome them?
Well, I would say, if I roll back the clock 25 years ago, because we bootstrapped the company, obviously financially it was very difficult. Those that are out there listening that have started a business, they'll know exactly what I mean when I say it's really hard. It's really hard because it's hard to, when you hang the sign out and start your business, to get customers to want to buy what you're selling, whether it's a product, whether it's a service. In our case, it was a service, third-party logistics and supply chain management. So in the early days, it was really hard. We weren't doing very well financially, and so we kept extending our credit. And so we had to go through a lot of bumps. I would say, in the first 5 years, the rule of thumb is, as an entrepreneur or a person that starts a business, the rule of thumb is if you're still standing after 5 years, your likelihood of making it goes up pretty significantly.
Okay.
Within the first 5 years, your likelihood of making it is pretty low. And so we handled the bumps and bruises that came along in that first 5 years. We had a number of things that threw a wrench into our plans. You guys remember Mike Tyson, the boxer?
Yep.
Yes.
One of his famous quote was, "Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face."
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
Those setbacks.
we got punched in the face quite a bit because our plan kept changing, because things that we had planned on, all of a sudden went awry. But I would say that once we were able to get solid footing, got some traction, and was able to grow the business to a certain point, and like I said earlier, when we got to the point we could start hiring people, and then hiring great people, that allowed us not only to provide a higher level of service to our customers, but also get some more traction and foundational components there, like the finances. Worrying about making payroll in the early days was something that kept me up at night, for sure.
And it sounds like, too, going back to like what you said, like your core values, like family, and like making sure that you have like good people surrounded you, like on the inside, like that's got to be a tremendous impact, like just on your business, like knowing that you have people on the inside that you can rely on and trust, and like even when times are going to be tough, you still got people that are going to stand by you and stick through it all. So that sounds like that's definitely something that you guys got going there, and that's awesome to hear.
Well, that's true, Andrew. About the 5-year mark, so roughly about 20 years ago, I wrote our value statement. We didn't have a value statement up to that point because we were just trying to keep our head above water. Just make payroll and get food on the table for our 2 kids. But at about the 5-year mark, when things started to turn a little bit in a positive way, I sat down and I wrote a mission statement, a vision statement, and a value statement, and established 8 core values. Now here we are sitting 20 years later, and our value statement and our 8 core values are exactly the same.
Wow.
They've never changed. Our value statement speaks about who we are as an organization. Our 8 core values are character, respect, compassion, entrepreneurial spirit, civic responsibility. Each one of those core values represents who we are inside. Core values are about who you are in your heart. It's not about who you are just on a certain day. The old saying that, your true character is what you're doing and no one's looking. Well, that's what core values are. Core values should be immovable. They should not change. They should be part of who you are deep inside, no matter whether they have a good day or a bad day. And we all have bad days. But when you have a bad day, your values should never change. When you have a good day, the values should stay the same. So when you embed your values into your culture, now you have an organization that comes to work every day and is focused on a culture that is based on supporting each other, caring about each other. and caring about the customer, believing in what the company stands for, that is totally different outlook. Totally different outlook than if you have an organization that's focused on the bottom line. That's an outside in view versus inside out view, which is focused on culture. I'm a big believer in there was a saying from years ago in a business book where the author said that strategy or culture eats strategy for breakfast 7 days a week. And what he meant by that is that culture is way more important than strategy. Strategy is something that you need to execute, but you can't execute strategy without a culture. So you can strategize all day long, and if you don't work on the culture as the leader of the organization, you're never going to be executing any kind of strategy.
You don't have anything to build off of.
Correct. So it goes right back to being people-centric.
Awesome.
So in talking about having read that in a book, are there any influential figures or mentors who you've kind of looked up to, tried to be like in your business and your venture as an entrepreneur?
Well, I've had a number of mentors over the years. I think a person's life is shaped heavily by both mentors and life experiences. I think we all have different people we interact with that become mentors, kind of show you the right way, and we all have life experiences that we deal with. Each one of us has our own fingerprint. It's very different. So for me, a mentor, some mentors I've had, of course, my mom first. She was a special lady. She actually just passed away a few weeks ago.
Oh, I'm
sorry to
February
hear that.
22nd. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's hard. She was 90, so she had a good long life, but she was a survivor. She was persistent. She was funny. I spent a lot of time with her over the last few weeks of her life here just recently and at the hospital. And, I used to think I was, more 80% my dad, 20% my mom, but I realized at that moment I was actually 80% my mom. And I'm really happy about that, really, really proud of that. So she was a mentor for me just because of her being a persistent, hardworking survivalist is the best way to describe my mom. Then I had some other coaches. My head coach at Mount Union, you may remember the name Larry Karras, Nicolina. He's a legendary coach at Mount Union, has the winningest record in college football history. So I had the opportunity to play for him. And, my most cherished athletic honor was actually being a captain for his first team as a head coach, which was 1986. So my senior year, it was his first year as a head coach. And he's been a very influential person. And, I think coaches can do a lot for a young person. I think probably the number one thing that mentors can do for young people is to let them know that, they're special, that they can be successful, and let them know that they believe in them. I think that's one of the things in today's society, especially with young kids. They're influenced pretty heavily by a lot of things going on, like social media and other things. I think the number one thing we can do to pay it forward is to tell these young kids we believe in them. Because when you tell them that you believe in them, then they can feel the sense that they do mean that their life does mean something. It's valuable. And because I think a lot of times, I go back to my early childhood. I came from a broken home that had addiction. And when I had, coaches and teachers and friends that told me they believed in me, that made a huge difference in my life. And
Absolutely.
so having people around you that are good people that tell you that they believe in you, I think is one of the most important things we can do as a society to particularly help young kids that are still struggling to find their way.
Absolutely. Working with young kids every day, it's amazing that the impact in just the small amount of time that we're with them, the difference you can have in building their self-esteem, their self-confidence, their autonomy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you lose sight of that in the day-to-day, but when you get it in that, tiny little window, you can see it on their faces, and it really is very impactful for them.
I totally agree, Nicolina. I think that especially when we talk about younger kids, kids that are going through those formative years, they need mentors to tell them they believe in them, because there are times when you're not sure when you're a young kid, depending on what you have going on in your life. And some people have more going on than others. And I just think that's one of the most important things we can do to pay it forward is tell these young kids you believe in them. I had that from whether it be a teacher or a coach or a family member when I was growing up, and it made all the difference in the world. I just remember when one of my high school coaches told me he believed in me. I walked out of that room and I thought I was Superman.
On top of
ready
the world.
ready to run through a brick wall for him.
Because I don't think we don't do that enough. I don't think, with especially younger kids.
Well, and as an adult, when you've got so many things going on, so many responsibilities, you've got work, home, all of those different things, it's hard to remember back to that time when you were young and how important those words of affirmation were to you at that point. So, being mindful as the adults in the situation to make that effort, to say those things, to lift those kids up.
Yeah. I think it's our obligation as the next generation, the older generation, for myself, not speaking for you, Nicolina, or Andrew, you guys are way younger than I am, but as an older generation, to look at the next generation coming up and how can we pay it forward? How can we provide a platform for all of this next generation to be the best version of themselves, to be able to, do what they do to the best of their ability. And you have to provide that platform. And then the ball is in their court. I don't think we need a society based on entitlements. I think we need a society based on people who earn it and, are looking for ways to continue to be successful in this world by working hard, keeping their nose to the grindstone, as they say.
Yes.
So there's a lot of things that I think we should do as an older generation to provide those opportunities, and then let the younger generation take it and run with it.
Absolutely. You mentioned some of those characteristics, but are there any qualities or skills you think that have contributed to your success as an entrepreneur, things that you've been taught by your mentors, or things that you may just feel innately that you are excelling at?
I would say one that really rises to the top for me, Nicolina, is what I learned, and this would be through mentors, participating on sports teams as a younger person all the way through college, is building trusting relationships. I think that trust sets the tone for all interpersonal relationships. We all know what it's like to have true trust with someone. On the flip side, we all know what it's like to lose trust with someone. And I think that when there's true trust with people that you either work with family, on your sports team that you play with, the possibilities are endless, because I think trust sets the tone for all relationships. And when you have trusting relationships, you work together as a team, and that working together is based on trust. I think that's a key component to overall leadership. And I think you have to have leadership. And I think leadership is one of those things that doesn't come with a title. If your title says manager, that doesn't make you a leader. What makes you a leader is a servant leader. A servant leader is a person that cares about others before they care about themselves. They care about the team more than they care about the individual. So servant leaders, and you can be a servant leader no matter what your title is. You don't have to have the title manager to be a servant leader. Leaders, everyone's a leader in some way, shape, or form. You might be a leader in your home. You might be a leader amongst your family. You might be a leader at work. But being a leader as compared to being a servant leader is two different scenarios. And so we really focus on being a servant leader. How do you serve others before you serve yourself? And when you do that, people understand what trust is all about. People understand what loyalty is all about. And so that's what I would say from your question earlier, Nicolina. What would be the one or two things that sort of have been an important part of who I am, and as far as leading the company, it's being a servant leader and building trusting relationships with others. That's how not only are you promoting the growth and development of the team around you, but it's how you also earn a higher level of success for your organization as a whole.
Trust is crucial.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get anything done. You can't get anywhere if you don't have someone to be there to catch you when you fall, or have your back when you're having a hard time, or even be there with you through your successes.
Yeah, and it's not that complicated, really. It's about leading by example. Mm-hmm. When you stand in front of a group of people and you are viewed as a leader of the organization, you just have to be authentic. You have to be who you are, and leaders that are not good leaders are those that say one thing and do something else. Yeah. So when you lead by example, you truly care about the people you work with. Again, for me personally, it's how we started the company, and we bootstrapped it. No employees, we had no customers. We hung the sign out front, and we said, "Here's our," we put the open sign out, and we subsequently struggled significantly until we finally were able to start hiring people. So, great people and leading great people is again one of my passions, because it gives me fulfillment. It's one of those things that I just love to see people become successful.
Right. It's nice to be that mentor for other people in a way, and just see them carry on the characteristics and the goals that you had, and see them succeed in different ways.
Exactly. And, if you were to look at all of our executive leaders at the company now, they all have those personality traits: servant leadership, trusting relationships, loyalty. That's what creates a great organization.
Yep.
So speaking of investing in people, I know that civic responsibility is one of Jarrett's core values.
It is, yes.
And that your company is definitely known for its involvement in the local community here in Orrville. Can you share some of the roles you hold within the community and some examples of initiatives that you support both personally and as a company?
Sure. Yeah, we try to get involved with as many things in the community as we can. I think it's really important to fulfill the civic responsibility core value as the organization, is to get involved in the local community. I'm a big fan, huge fan actually, of what I would call grassroots initiatives. Mm-hmm. I just think that getting involved in your local community, Boys and Girls Club, the Salvation Army, United Way. There's a number of things that are local to Orrville, and that's what I would put in that bucket as grassroots initiatives. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best way to make the most impact on those that need the most help, because when you're the term boots on the ground, you're there in the community, and you can see and feel where the most needs are. Mm-hmm. Versus and obviously providing civic responsibility outside of the year is great, but I think the most impact that we can make as a company here in Orrville is to support local initiatives in a grassroots way. So one of the things that I'm very involved in, I'm the chair of Heartland Education Community. That's an organization that was started in the early 90s by Tim Smucker, and he's still on the Heartland Education Board. He's a wonderful guy, just an amazing, amazing person. One of my mentors, actually.
Okay.
Nicolina, talk about people I look up to. Tim Smucker would be right up there. And Heartland Education Community is a great organization that helps the Orrville schools and the Orrville community, particularly at-risk students, with character education, with OHuddle. I don't know if you're familiar with OHuddle. Wonderful organization led by Sarah Reith. She's amazing. She's also a Mount Union graduate.
Yes, I actually just saw her this morning. She is a wonderful human.
So she's amazing. And so Heartland Education supports OHuddle, supports English language learners. We support the science, technology, engineering, and math programs at Orville schools. So Heartland does a wonderful job in supporting the local community. It's a great example of a grassroots organization that helps the local community in a way where there is the most need. You know, one of our things we like to talk about at Heartland meetings is a simple question, and that is, how can we help? You know, how can we help? And you know, it's a great organization. We meet every couple of months at 6:30 a.m. So, Andrew and Nicolina, you guys are welcome to attend. Josh is on the steering committee, so you guys are welcome to attend. We, as a grassroots organization, there's no entry fee, no document to fill out. It's just for people who care about the community and want to show up at 6:30 in the morning for a meeting.
6:30 in the morning, bright and early. That'll be a little bit easier in the summertime when it's light outside at 6:30.
That's right. That is right. But I'm also on the board at the Wayne County Community Foundation, which is an outstanding foundation here in Wayne County that supports, again, local communities. I represent the Orville area for Wayne County Community Foundation, and I'll tell you, it's a great organization. It's a foundation that has a significant amount of financial resources, and it allocates funds to those areas that have the most need in Wayne County. So again, a local grassroots organization. So those are kind of the two things that I'm personally involved in. As a company, we get very involved in a lot of initiatives in the area. Again, it fulfills the core value civic responsibility.
And I like the idea of, the grassroots organizations, the ones within your community, helping, at home, starting at home, because then you see the ripple effect. You can go outwards and, engage in projects and initiatives outside of the community. But at the end of the day, I truly believe that you're going to have more impact by starting at home, because then you become a mentor. You are leading by example. You are potentially inspiring other people in your community to then take that and run with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you just touch one life and make a difference in that person's life, that's significant. You want to try to touch as many as you can, but if you do what you can to help others and it inspires them to go off and do great things, and they go and help others, it pays it forward.
So do you have any kind of project that you have been involved in through all of your civic engagement that you would say was the most impactful on you?
Well, let me think about that. I would say for me personally right now, the being part of Heartland Education has impacted me significantly. Like I said, it's a great organization. I think that what it stands for and how it impacts particularly at-risk children within the Orville schools as well as the Orville community would rank right up there. Had a number of other things I guess we've been involved in over the years. My wife and I get involved as much as we can with whether it's support through different organizations or direct support to others. But I would say the Heartland Education is the one organization that I've been involved with for over 20 years now, and I've been the chair now for about a year, and I just feel like it's made such a huge impact on me personally.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So if other people listening right now, they're not currently involved in anything, they want to get involved, whether it be with Heartland, with other places within the community, what's your recommendation to get started on that?
Well, just show up, right? I think that, Mark Twain once said 80% of success just showing up every day.
Yeah.
And, just show up and ask that simple question, how can I help?
Absolutely.
Get the wheels going.
Yeah.
The wheels turning.
And I think, I think your heart will guide you in that direction where you have the most passion in. You know, I think that's a big part of it. Is, you know, are you passionate about what you're doing? And then, you know, we in our organization we talk a lot about it's called a success wheel, and at the top of the wheel it has what's called the desired zone. The desired zone is, you know, are you doing what you're passionate about, and then are you proficient at what you're doing? And you can't be proficient, 100% proficient at what you're doing unless you're passionate. It starts with passion.
Got to have that spark.
So I think that's true with civic responsibility. You know, pick something that you're passionate about, and when you start doing that, when you're giving back in some form or fashion, in a way that you're passionate about, you're going to go much further with it than if you're just doing it to check a box. You know, so my advice to anyone listening out there that wants to get involved, identify something that you're passionate about. And for me personally, and the same with my wife, we both have areas that we're very passionate about, primarily because of our life experiences. As I mentioned earlier, I think mentorship and life experiences shape a person in a significant way. And so we identify certain things that we're passionate about because of our own personal life experiences. So I would encourage anyone listening out there to, you know, think about your life experiences and, you know, what means the most to you, what you're passionate about, and then identify an organization, a charitable organization that you can get involved with, and then go do it. Because when you go to do something you're passionate about because you had a life experience or experiences in the past that kind of inspired you, made you a better person. And we talk about adversity all the time at Jarrett. We love hiring people that have gone through adversity because you know what? When you go through adversity, in that adversity, you conquered it, and it made you stronger, and it made you better. You're a better leader in the organization because you know how to solve problems.
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
When you know, everyone deals with adversity. Everyone does. So the key is, how do you deal with that adversity? How do you take that adversity, you conquer it, and it makes you better, and it makes you stronger? So think about, when you are considering, for those that are listening, you know, what organization are you involved in? Think about those life experiences that you know, made you better, made you stronger, and you want to do the same for others that are currently in those situations.
And it is a really exciting feeling too when you're able to identify that passion and pursue that.
Yeah.
You find a whole group of people
Yeah.
who have the exact same passion.
That's right.
And, you know, we work better as teams.
Well, when you're passionate about it, you do it because you love it. You don't do it because you have to.
Right.
Man, I tell you that's the you know, that's the area, you know, that desired zone that we talk about a lot at Jarrett. That's where you want to be. You want to be in that desired zone. So, you know, you're doing it because you love to do it. When you start, you know, thinking that, oh, I have to do this because I have to, it's just, number one, it's not as fun, and I don't think it's sustainable either. When you're passionate about it, it's sustainable. It's infinite because you're getting out of bed every day. You're excited about what you're doing.
And I feel like we can even see that with you, like 25 years, like I know like some people, they'll be like, man, I just don't want to get up and go to work. But like just hearing you talk and hear like about your story, like 25 years and you're still passionate about what you're doing, like you love it. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's stopping anytime soon for you.
You're reading my mind really well, Andrew. My wife keeps saying, you know, we've been married 36 years now. We were actually, I left this out of my history. I need to say this because my wife will listen to this podcast and say, why didn't you bring me up? No, we met in high school, actually.
Oh,
we were high school sweethearts.
High school sweethearts.
Yeah. And so we met in chemistry class at Norway. And you know, there's different stories. 36 years later, my story kind of has, you got, you know, it's like a fish story, right?
Yep.
I'll tell people it was chemistry at first sight.
You had chemistry.
Yeah. My wife's like, no, there was not chemistry at first sight. But we started dating in high school and dated through college, and then got married soon after graduating from college. So we've been married now 36 years, and she's my soulmate. You know, she's my business partner, my wife, my best friend. So another mentor, I should have said this earlier, Nicolina, but my wife definitely is a mentor for me. But I tell my wife this all the time, Andrew, about, you know, loving what I do. And, you know, we're getting to that age now where maybe we should look at retiring or at least, you know, traveling more. And I just love what I do so much that I tell my wife, I'm like, you know, you're going to have to, you know, wheel me out of my office someday.
Hey, and that's all you can ask for. I mean, it's I feel like so many people have such a hard time finding like things that they're passionate in, or they have so many interests, but like just having that like one thing that you're truly passionate about, like it's so awesome. And especially since you guys did that together, like and it's yours. Like you own it, like you're running it, like it's awesome. 25 years is a great accomplishment.
I appreciate you saying that, Andrew. Yeah, that is something I think is important as well. We're obviously privately owned. We do not have any partners. We have no private equity. You know, so the company is still 100% owned by my wife and I. And you know, we have no debt, which we're really proud about that. That's hard. That's a hard thing to do in business nowadays. And so, but we kind of, we've over the years, 25 years now, have, you know, slowly but surely grown the business, reinvested back in the business, and I guess build a foundation that's kind of based on, you know, how you should run a business. You know, you should, you know, we're both, you know, strong Christians, and we feel as a Christian couple, we should run our business with that same mindset. And so it's been 25 years of hard work, but very fulfilling. And I think that's one thing that is important for our employees to understand as well, is that we're here to stay. We're not going to be making any changes that would impact their opportunities to grow personally and professionally.
You're not fair weather flyers.
No, exactly.
Maybe in retirement, go down to Florida.
Yeah, that's something that we, you know, the older I get in this cold weather, the more I do like warmer weather. I'll admit to that.
So now we are getting into my favorite segment of the show, the most riveting. So buckle up.
I'm hanging on, Nicolina. Okay.
It is time for Would You Rather.
Okay.
All right. This question is posed to anyone at the table. Would you rather have the ability to fly or be able to breathe underwater?
I think I'd rather have the ability to fly.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
I like being able to get from one place to another really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe if you could breathe underwater, you could swim a little faster.
I know, that's true.
But
that's
you'd
true.
have to be touching the water at some point,
Yeah.
or then you run into a situation where you have to swim and run.
Yeah.
That's just no good.
I'm afraid I'd want to go too deep in the water, and I'm afraid what I'd find.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't like ocean. The ocean kind of gives me the. I don't know. I don't want to know what's deep in the ocean.
That's right. What's that old saying? Is what you don't know won't hurt you.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm with you on that, Andrew.
All right. Would you rather be able to always find a close parking spot or never have to wait in line again?
Ooh,
That's a tough one there. Both are very appealing. I'm going to pick the latter, never have to wait in line again. I don't like, you know what? Every time I go to a grocery store or restaurant, it's really busy, I pick the wrong line.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Doesn't it happen? It doesn't happen all the time. You go and you think, okay, I guarantee this line's going to be faster. So you get in that line and you're looking around and you're not moving, and the line next to you keeps moving. Doesn't it happen?
It
all the
always
time?
happens to me at
happens to me.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
The two lines that they have, I always pick the wrong line.
That's right.
Happens to me on toll roads. I'm like, oh, look, there's only one car there. And all of a sudden, machine's broken. 15 minutes later, I'm
Yep.
like,
Right.
oh, we're never getting through now.
That's right.
Also, I don't mind walking from the parking spot.
Yeah.
No,
I've
it's good exercise.
I've never seen a
Right.
parking lot that was big enough to make me, I don't know if I want to.
Yeah.
I feel like I always do that. I always park like in the back of the parking lot, like
does.
because I don't like to deal with all the traffic, and especially if it's nice, get some good sunshine for about 15, 30 seconds walking in. So
yeah,
I would agree with
Yeah,
you with the line.
yeah.
The line is definitely the way to go.
yeah.
He definitely parks way back in the parking lot when he's driving the club van.
Oh yeah, I
Ah.
can't park that.
Those
So
guys are
I
pretty
gotta have
big.
the open spots.
That club van, I've seen it, Andrew. It's big.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you
Yeah,
see it, we'll be in
yeah.
the back of the parking lot.
Yeah, well, I'm the same way. I'm not very good at parking either. My wife reminds me of that every time I try to squeeze in. I try to
Yep.
parallel park, and she's like, "Don't even try."
grabbing the top handle, and she's hoping for dear life.
All right. Would you rather live without music or without movies?
Wow. I like a good movie once in a while. We don't watch a lot of movies, so I'm gonna say I would rather live without movies.
Mm-hmm.
And trust me, I'm not a music connoisseur by any means, but I enjoy listening to music, whether it's when I'm working out or doing some other things. So I would say I'd rather live without movies.
Yeah. It's nice to have a little music just running in the background, a little
Yeah.
soundtrack.
It's like it's like a mood changer in a way.
It
like,
is.
You can like working out. Like
Yeah.
if I'm working out, like I'll definitely like get some music that'll get me going a little bit.
Yeah.
Or like I'll listen to country music
Yeah.
like on a nice like sunny day, like just driving home, just put you in a good mood.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Andrew, I was working out this morning, and on the radio, you guys are too young to probably remember Elton John, but okay. So Elton John comes on, and I think it was Rocket Man, and I thought that's a good song. So it
Yep.
brightened my mood for that moment.
There you go. Get you when you don't want to work out, but then that first song's hitting, and then
Yeah.
it gets you in the mood.
That's
so.
right.
Well, and I'm thinking too, anytime I've been on the treadmill, it is really hard to watch a movie while you're running.
Yeah.
It's shaking all
Yeah.
over the place.
That's right.
Get motion sickness. All right. I think we might have accidentally already answered this one. Would you rather live in a world where it's always cold or always hot?
I'd pick always hot.
Yeah.
Now, when I was younger, I would probably pick always cold. But the older
Yeah.
I get, the less I like cold weather. My old joints just don't like the cold weather anymore. So I would say always hot. And actually, hot weather, hot muggy weather, when we get into the parts of the summer here, like July, for example, and it gets pretty hot and muggy, I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind it. It's not too bad. It can wear on you at times, but
Yeah.
I think of the alternative, January.
Yeah.
I'm good
December,
for like
January.
spring weather's the best.
Yeah,
like when
it
it's like
is.
when you said like June, July, like
Yeah.
I just don't like it when I feel my clothes like start to stick to me like if I'm
Yeah.
getting a little hot. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I'd agree with
See,
that.
I would take that all day over cold.
Yeah.
I can't. There comes a point where I'm like, I'm just never going to be warm again. All right. And last one.
I got a question after too.
Okay. So not last one.
Not last
Ah.
one. Not last
Second to last one. Would you rather have a rewind button for your life or a pause button?
Wow. Okay, so I'm 59, so I'm getting up there. The big 6-0 is next year. My birthday's in February, so I just turned 59 last month. I think I'm gonna have to pick pause because I don't want to turn 60.
It goes so fast.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not looking forward to next February. I really am not. 60 just sounds really old.
Just tell them you're 59 then.
Okay. That's a good idea, Nicolene. I'm going to stick with that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. How, 20 years from now, and I'm still telling people I'm 59, they may not believe it, though,
Mhm. I totally understand that, though. In working with the teens, I sometimes am very flattered and other times very offended
Oh yeah.
when they try to guess my age.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
right.
like, oh, man, I'm going to have to make up an age and just stick with
Yeah.
that.
They are sometimes brutally honest.
Yeah.
I know. But I would say I would have to pick pause.
Pause button.
Yeah.
All right. So my question, I'm just kind of gathering this just from hearing some things that you're interested in. So it sounds to me like you're a big football guy, correct?
I do. Yeah. Football's my
Okay.
favorite sport. Yeah.
So I hope that you watch both of these, but what would you rather do on a weekend? Would you rather watch college football or would you rather watch NFL? Because I feel like that's like some people say that they can't watch NFL and some people say they can't watch college. So what would you rather watch like on a long weekend?
College football.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. Is there
Yeah.
a reasoning behind it?
Well, I think I enjoy college football just because it's more pure.
Yeah.
know.
I'd say the atmosphere, like especially with the fans and stuff.
Yeah. And so now with the name, image, likeness, and some other things going on, I think some of that purity is being diluted a little bit, but I still would pick college football over pro. I enjoy watching pro football as well. You know, I'm a Browns fan, and, you know,
There we go.
hard to see them, you know, continue to struggle. But, you know, we get Nick Chubb back next year. He's my favorite player. I think he's awesome. I wish we would have kept Joe Flacco. I really liked him.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's a good dude.
Yeah, and our offensive line is amazing. We got a great defense. So, you know, I think if we can keep our quarterback healthy, we have a really good shot. So I enjoy the NFL, but I love college football.
Is there a college team other than Mount Union that you keep up with, or
Ohio State?
Okay,
huge fan of Ohio State Buckeyes, and yeah, between Mount Union #1, Ohio State #2, I like to still watch some Mount Union games. It's fun to go back and watch some of those games, and then I love to watch Ohio State as well.
There you go. And what position did you play?
I was a nose tackle in college.
Okay.
So yeah.
Awesome. But yeah, that's all I had. I was just curious.
All right.
I was getting that
Asking
vibe.
hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's good.
Well, but
Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much for spending your time here today, sharing all this information and wisdom with us. It's been a real pleasure to have you here. At this point, is there anything that you would like to plug on the show? Any events coming up with Heartland? Anything, you know, websites, things like that for people to follow, find information?
Oh, sure, Nicolina. I guess I would love to, you know, plug Heartland again. It's the Heartland Education Community, and as I mentioned earlier, it's a grassroots organization. We have 35 to 40 steering committees right now, or steering committee members right now, and you know, everyone is welcome. Anyone that wants to participate, just you can just look it up online and send an email in, and our administrative assistant will set you up to be on the next email that announces our next meeting. So I would encourage anyone that wants to get involved with Heartland to do that. We're also always looking to hire great people. So if anyone is interested that's listening out there in a career change or are looking for a job currently, I would encourage you to go to our website. It's gojarrett.com, GoJarrett.com. And there would be a link to click on to fill out an application. So, yeah, I guess that would be the two main things I would want to plug.
Perfect. There we go.
Yeah, awesome.
Well, thank you again for your time. This has been lovely.
Well, thank you,
thank
Nicolina.
you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. You guys did a great job with the interview.